Here are a couple of examples of trigonometry which we want to show you. The first question simply is asking what are the sine, cosine, and tangent ratios for angle T in this. So our answer will be probably some fraction. We'll try to simplify it as much as possible. We want to make sure that we remember SOHCAHTOA. So if I want to find out, let's say, the sine of angle T, the sine would be the opposite over the hypotenuse. So the sine of T would equal the opposite side, which is 8, over the hypotenuse, which is 17. And that's the sine value of T. That's all there is to it. Let's take a look at the cosine of T. The cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Well, the adjacent side would be the leg that touches angle T. So that's 15, and that's over the hypotenuse, which is 17. So 15 over 17 would be the cosine. And finally, the tangent of T would be the opposite over the adjacent. So we're going over here. Opposite is 8. The adjacent is 15. 8 over 15, our answer for that. Now, if we could have simplified those fractions, we should have. All right, the next one is actually a real trigonometry question. Suppose someone drops a stone from the Leaning Tower of Pisa at a height of 150 feet. So if they did that, how far from the base of the tower would the stone land? So let me move this off my face. And so if we were standing up here and we dropped the stone straight down, it would land here. This distance is what we're looking for. Let me redraw this triangle kind of over here. It won't be very big. This is the right angle. This is the unknown value. The 150-degree measure is right there. And the angle, it says, is 5 degrees right here. So the Leaning Tower of Pisa is leaning a little bit. And so here's the triangle. And I want to find x. So I'm going to use SOHCAHTOA. We jot it down. And I got to figure out which function to use. Do I use sine, cosine, or tangent? Well, the angle I'm interested in is right here. So the angle, that's the opposite side, and this is the adjacent side. So I look up here and I find the function that uses the opposite side and the adjacent side, and I see that it's right there. T stands for tangent, so I know that the tangent of 5 degrees will equal the opposite side, x, over the adjacent side, which is 150. And now it's a matter of me solving this equation for x. I'm going to multiply both sides by 150. And so x will equal 150 times the tangent of 5 degrees. I will need the calculator for that. So I grab my calculator, turn it on, and I do 150, and then I push the tangent button, and then 5 degrees. And I hit enter, and I get that number. Now, before I say that's the right answer, I want to check something on my calculator. Yep, that's correct. So you want to make sure that you're in the degree mode because your 5 could be measured in something besides degrees. Our answer is 13.12, let's call it. So x is 13.12 feet. So the stone is going to land a little more than 13 feet away from the base of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Now you notice I did check my mode. I pushed the mode button and I checked to make sure that it was in degree mode versus radian mode. Sometimes these graphing calculators are in radian mode. You want to make sure your calculator is in degree mode. And if you have a scientific calculator, I have an old one here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well, but I have to open it up before I can do anything. When I turn it on, you might look right up there and it says degree. If that says degree, then you're good to go. And you can do the problem because that's in degree mode. All right, I've got one more question. This time it asks me, what is the measure of angle x to the nearest degree? It doesn't give me a measure of an angle, but angle x is over here. I want to find that measurement given the two sides. So again, I look at SOHCAHTOA. This is the angle. This is the adjacent side. This is the hypotenuse. So I'm looking at the function I need, and it's cosine. So the cosine of x would equal the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. There's really no need to simplify that fraction. But since I'm looking for an angle measure, I need to use the inverse cosine of 15 over 20. So if I go back to my calculator, you can see that there's a cosine button right here, but right above it, it's the cosine to the -1. That's the function I want. So I'll do second cosine. That's the inverse cosine, and then I'll just type in the fraction 15 over 20. You want to practice this with your calculator. So that's going to give me the angle measure. And that's going to be, since I was in degree mode, this is in degrees, 41 degrees, since I want the nearest degree. So this is going to be x is 41 degrees. And there's that one. There's your notes and your examples for our trigonometry H.3.